Unarmed and dangerous.
Extremely dangerous. Unarmed
Extremely
and
dangerous.
extremely dangerous. That is the tagline. So yeah, we're back. How are you feeling, Vadim?
Oh, I feel
You
pretty
good?
good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited
Yeah.
today to we get an opportunity to discuss a film that's close to our hearts, and it's the 1992. Oh, sorry. First of all, let's probably go do a round of introductions. So I'll start
You want to
first.
go
I
first?
am
Yeah.
Yanis Aliferis. I am a screenwriter, an actor, and an author. And I am coming to you today from Piraeus, Athens, Greece. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into this film and talk about it with Vadim. So
Yep.
yeah,
I think you just gave away my name.
well, I mean, I was helping to helping to get you
I'm
started, sort of like
I'm
passing on
Vadim
the.
from Sydney, Australia. Uh, like Yanis, I've been you know fan of action movies, martial arts movies, and horror, science fiction, and all that kind of stuff. I'm a lot into sort of earlier retro stuff, movies from the 90s, 80s, 70s, and so on. And I also like international movies. Um, I get into a lot of different unique stuff, like Italian giallo movies as well, which hopefully we'll discuss a bit later on in future episodes. And I love the art of filmmaking, and I love films.
Awesome, awesome, buddy.
So that's me.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, nice. So yeah, today we're gonna discuss the 1992 classic starring the late and great Brandon Lee, Rapid Fire, and it's interesting, I think, because I feel with this film there's two sides of it that come into play. Like personally, so there's the when I think that's going to be really interesting the way when we watched it the first time back in the early 90s compared to watching it recently and how we feel about it now. So I think we
Mm.
could start off with I would like to ask you about watching it for the first time and how did that feel to you back in
Yeah.
Australia in the early 90s?
Yeah. So a little bit of background for people that don't know. Yanis and myself, we actually went to high school together. We were in the same year back when Yanis was in Australia for a brief period. I would say we were in year nine at the time when that movie came out. And you actually saw the movie before me. I think
Oh,
it was
hello?
actually about a week
Hello?
before me when it first came out on video. And I remember you came to school one morning and you told me that you've seen the latest Brendan Lee movie. You were very excited. And I found out a little bit more about the movie during our sparring session at lunchtime, which we always loved to do. We used to muck around and we used to play fight, spar, and because
Well,
we watched a lot of. Yeah,
sometimes you
go
would
on.
get serious and we would it would get fired up, and then we had the whole school waiting for us to really go at it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes it turned ugly.
It did turn a little bit ugly, but it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
so I remember during our sparring session, you had your guard like this, where you had your front hand out, and I was trying to sort of push it away, and you kept it holding it there, and I'm like, you didn't never did that before. Like, where is that from? You go, oh, that's from the movie. That's what Brendan Lee was doing when he was fighting in the movie. I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool. I can't wait to see
I,
that. He was using this. He was using this technique, and I
and I
remember I
also
saw it
was
a week later.
sorry, I was also using the fake front kick to the
Oh,
jab.
yeah,
So fake,
yeah, yeah. Fake front kick to the jab. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I remember you saw it exactly a week before I have. Um, my earliest memories were that you watched it in the cinema, but apparently you didn't. You watched it on video when it first came out, and then I watched it a week later on video as well. So yeah, it
yeah,
was
exactly. I
very
mean,
exciting.
memory is a funny thing. With me and Vadim, the stuff that I remember really clear, like it happened yesterday, and then the stuff that Vadim remembers and I have forgotten. I mean, memory is a weird thing, but yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't see it in the cinema. I wish I had. That would have been awesome
Yeah.
to have watched it there. So awesome. Yeah. So what did you think of it at the time? You know.
Well, from the way we're gushing about it, I think it's no secret that we both love this movie, and I mean, I give the highest rating. To me, it's 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is my favorite Brendan Lee movie. Very close with The Crow, um, but that movie kind of put him on the map, um, as being a great
up and
actor,
coming,
and yeah, yeah,
up and coming
and,
star.
and
Yeah.
and an
Yeah.
upcoming star. Yeah, yeah. So it was really really cool to be there during that time and seeing remembering the excitement and the thrill of it. It was just, yeah, very nice,
So
very good.
yeah, we became huge fans. Obviously, we became friends early on because of our love for Bruce Lee and our interest in martial arts. And then when his son started becoming famous and Rapid Fire came out, we were so excited because it was his son, and but it was like his own, something else, like different, equally awesome. And we were really excited about the
Yeah.
future. And then one day I walk into the my father had a shop in Sydney in Seven Sisters area, and my mother tells me that what happened, that Brandon Lee died. And I was like, what? And I was like, what? I wouldn't believe it. And I went next door and bought the newspaper, and I was reading it, and then I rushed home to phone you to tell you. And
Mm.
it's you were like, shut up, John. There's no way. I don't believe you. Just stop. And I started reading you the article, exactly how it said, and then you were like, oh shit. Let me go off and verify it. Let me go buy the newspaper. And
Yeah.
yeah,
By the
yeah,
newspaper. I couldn't go on YouTube or
exactly.
do a Google search or anything like
Exactly.
that back in
we
the
had to
early
rely
90s.
we had to rely on this thing called newspapers back then.
Yeah, exactly. How else would you hear about it? I go, look, are you sure? You go, yeah. I go, well, I'm going to go to the newsagent now and buy a newspaper.
Yeah,
And you go for it. You'll see it. And I did go, and yeah, I did see the article. That's how I found out about it.
yeah, and it was like, oh man, it was devastating. It was just something. Oh, it's just really, really um, tragic that happened. And
Yeah.
yeah, it really had a big influence on us. And
Mm.
yeah, and many times I think what would have been. And I really think that uh, the mantle was taken up a little bit by Ken Reeves. I feel like they have like this spirit connection, and I could easily see some of the films that Ken Reeves did that Brandon Lee could have been in. Um, so I think he would have had a really interesting career. He was the type of person to want to have a broad range of things and to challenge himself. So he would have been in romantic films and dramas as well. And he was very, very creative and spiritual. And I think he would have done some very interesting roles if he had the
Yeah.
chance.
Had a bright
You know.
future ahead of him, for sure.
Oh, for sure, big time.
Let's
So
talk
yeah.
a little bit about the movie. I mean, it's a spoiler discussion. Obviously, it's a very early '90s movie. So if someone that's watching it hasn't seen it, you better go and see it before you watch this video.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the film is directed by Dwight H. Little, who did Halloween 4, and then he did the Seagal film Mark for Death. Uh, and before doing Rapid Fire, and then he did like Murder on 1600 Street with Wesley Snipes before going into television. And I think I have to say that I think that guy was very influenced by Hong Kong cinema because the film plays like a love letter to Hong Kong action of the 80s and early 90s. And I think probably Brandon Lee played a role in that as well because he was a self-confessed Hong Kong action movies lover. And I think him and the director would probably had a lot of make sure that to include this type of action into the film. And there's some wonderful set pieces, like when early on in the film when he witnesses the murder, which is the inciting incident, and he kicks off the adventure, and immediately you see just really classic action, like when he kicks the at the staircase, the
Mm.
landing,
Yep.
the wooden
Yep.
thing, and
Yep.
it's really just. That's a standout scene. And most of all, I think my favorite part is when he's taken in custody to the safe house, the safe
Hmm.
apartment with the
Yep.
FBI agents, and
Yep.
the dirty FBI agents are there to and they start trying to kill him. And
Mm.
I think it's straight out of a Hong Kong film, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon Lee
Yeah.
is
He
doing
uses a lot of things that's around him, like
Yeah,
throwing the
usually exactly, just like Jackie Chan would do.
yeah,
The
yeah,
fridge,
the
the yeah.
fridge and the knives and forks, the sliding cabinet thing, and yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's an it's
Yeah.
uh but yeah, I mean, what I think doesn't get talked to about much is that for me that's the first mainstream film coming out of the US that had proper Hong Kong action in it, and I don't see that discussed much. And the viewers can let us know if they feel the same or if they feel differently. But I feel like because this came out before the whole movement of where John Woo and Ringo Lam and uh, Mark Chui. I hope I don't haven't butchered the name. Those directors were brought in to America by JCVD, and you had Hard Target, and all those things came later. And then you had Rush Hour, you had Rumble in Bronx breakthrough with Jackie Chan, leading to Rush Hour, leading to Blade One, which
Mm,
you know and then the Matrix and all those films. But I think that's the first one that got an international cinema release, and yeah, I think that ushered a new era in cinema.
mm,
Uh, Yeah,
for
but
sure. And he did it all in his um, sort of own style. It was a mixture of Hong Kong fighting, and obviously, it was a love letter to Jeet Kune Do and Wing Chun, and Muay Thai, and all a mixture of all these styles, which was
yeah, I mean,
amazing to see on screen. Because I mean, for myself, coming sort of more watching, the old kung fu movies that came out of Hong Kong back in the 70s. And, um, this type of fighting, sort of more Hong Kong modern type of fighting, was not well known in the West. And even though it was sort of more known with Jackie Chan and all that, like you mentioned, we haven't seen a proper Hollywood release in the West using that type of fighting. So it was very interesting to see.
yeah, absolutely, man. And the people behind the choreography were Jeet Kune Do practitioners.
Mm.
And then went off to into the Bourne films to do the choreography there, and it was very influential to
Mm.
American films. And but
Exactly.
how do you feel about watching it now? I'm sure you watched it recently, and
Yep.
yeah, how does that
Yeah.
compare to watching it now?
Um, I, I would say I liked it even more. There's a couple of things. I mean, the first thing, maybe this type of I miss this type of style of movies, which I haven't seen in a long time, which shows more sort of simplistic way of life, and what America was like sort of in the early 90s, with those big Cadillac cars, um, and that kind of stuff. And I like the way it was filmed as well. Um, and the storyline was quite interesting. So, and because I haven't seen it for such a long time, it was like, oh my god, this movie is so good. I wish I'd watched it. I haven't seen it probably for at least a decade, and I wished I actually watched it earlier, because there's just so many good things about it.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I hadn't actually watched it for even longer, for a very long time, and it felt like a
Mm,
breath of fresh air, man, watching this film
mm,
because it's a film that knows how to take its time and not rush things like a lot of modern cinema, and
mm.
like you said, the time period, the fact that it's film, it has that nice golden glow about it. It's got this nice pop in the colors that you rarely get these days. Even and we talked about this recently, but even the at night, how much society has changed, where you have all
Mm,
this harsh uh, lighting now in the streets, and when you
mm.
get like your Christmas lights, they're this LED harsh lighting, whereas in the past you had this the orange light. And now when I watch films at night, it's like the night scenes look really artificial and harsh, whereas in the
Yeah,
past
and
it
it
was
looks
just smooth.
very dark as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
yeah,
can't see what's going on. Yeah,
yeah,
I've noticed that a lot in Marvel movies. Sometimes when they go dark, they go too dark. Sometimes it's hard to know what's actually going on. You can't see much. Yeah.
yeah. Because mainly because of the green screens, you can't really light for them the way you can light for a proper set, and
Mhm.
it doesn't do favors to the digital cameras need a lot of good lighting to get that cinematic look. And then when you're relying so much of your storytelling onto the green screen, you get this flat. image, and you get a lot of added darkness when it's if it's nighttime, or if it's a dark set. If it's not it's supposed to be a bit shadowy, you get extra darkness. So that's a really good point. And yeah, this film, I mean, it tells a simple story, but it tells it so well. It's got characters you care for from the beginning. You've got this everyday normal kind of a guy who just wants to get on with it, and he's got like a bit of a trauma in the past, bit of a father issue, but um, he happens to know really good martial arts, and he gets involved without being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and gets involved in this adventure. And the fact that you've got these really cool little touches, like when he kills a man for the first time, and he's shocked that he actually did that, and it's really devastating for him, and that's a really good touch. That makes him
Mm.
more human. That makes us want to care about his predicament more. And it's got a great supporting cast with Paris Booth playing the father figure, who is like takes his place of the father that died early on in his life.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he adds Paris Booth adds class to anything he does, man. He's a fan favorite. He was
amazing actor.
brilliant in Deadwood, the western that unfortunately only lasted 3 seasons. And after this film, he went on to terrorize JCVD in Sudden Death. And he's been in all sorts of. He played Philip Marlowe in the '80s in a TV series, which that's an excellent role for him. Um, and
Mm.
it was again in Sin City and stuff like that. And you've got the you've got the love interest, which is done really well. You've got the relationship with the female cop, um,
Yeah.
is done really well. And you've got everything is as it should be. For me, it's the ultimate film to watch after you have a hard week at the office. You come back home, you want to sit, put your feet up, you want to grab a pizza, you want to grab some beer. You put that on, you have a great time.
Oh,
You
definitely, definitely. And I also liked Brendan Lee's character, the way he portrayed himself and how he made dangerous situations look. How should I put it? Not so dangerous, if that makes sense. I mean, he plays he's a very sarcastic character, and I just like the way he uses humor, jokes when he's in a tough situation. Um, but it works. It just works so well. Normally, I don't like that in modern day movies. Some of the modern day movies would use, when you're in dangerous situation, they would use jokes, and it just kind of goes, well, you're about to die, and here you are joking, making fun and making jokes. So for me, situations like that normally don't work, but Brendan Lee's
Yeah, because
character and the way he carries himself, and the stuff that he says, it just works. In this movie, it works.
it's all about timing and knowing when to use it. Because many films these days, like this really awful thing happens, and then they crack a joke because that's they go
Yeah,
to. That's
yeah,
lazy, and they're like, oh, if we throw a joke in here, then it's all right. Even if it's, oh, we don't want it to be too dark or too sad, let's throw a joke in. Whereas that film has the jokes right at the most important parts, and also you see the growth in the character of Brandon Lee, because he does go from this everyday guy that gets involved in this really in this adventure where he's out of his element, but then he graduates to someone that the police turn to in the end to help them with the case, and he's like, all right, guys. all right, I'll help you, like, and then he takes
Yeah,
charge,
yeah,
and yeah, like I told you that last time, even the bad guy has a moment where he's so funny, like when they capture him and this huge sequence happens, and finally Brandon Lee gets his hands on him, and he's like this, and the
not
guy
the
goes,
face, not the
yeah,
face.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that is
it was
hilarious,
so.
and that's perfect, and that's
it,
perfect.
it,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
made me like the character
yeah,
even more. Like the
yeah,
character was
yeah, yeah,
typical bad guy,
yeah,
but at that moment he
yeah,
went over to the cliche. He wasn't just a cliche
yeah,
mafia guy anymore.
yeah,
He
yeah,
went off that, like.
yeah,
So it's all about the timing and knowing when to use it. And
yeah.
this is what this film does great, all the way around. The music is solid from Christopher Young, who did Hellraiser before that,
Mhm.
and he did Species and Swordfish afterwards. So everything is on point. The music is on point. The acting is on point. Um,
And the martial arts, and
the martial
that's a big
arts
part
on point.
of this movie is also the martial arts. Yeah.
Shout out to An Leong, the guy
Hmm.
who's been there, done that, from Die Hard to Lethal Weapon, from Big Trouble in Little China to Showdown in Little Tokyo. He's been there, he's done it, and he's got the T-shirt for it. The
Oh,
guy's
like yeah,
amazing.
he's a legend. He's a legend, and he's mostly sort of he never plays the main actor, but he does the fight scenes, he does the stunts, and he's just so good at it.
Man,
And he's been
he
a
shows
huge,
up. He shows
yeah,
up, and shit's gonna go down. I mean, this guy.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to mess with this guy. I just don't. Like, it's gonna go down. You know, and
yeah,
he has a really cool fight scene with Brandon Lee in the end, um, where they do the trapping hands
yeah,
as well. And when I first saw,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you, I was like, "Oh wow, this is so cool!" Because you started doing Wing Chun, and I would come over to the class to have a lesson here and there, and
yeah,
it was like
yeah.
saying those things were really made us really excited. And
Well, exactly. Exactly. The martial arts was a big thing because it's not like saying, well, let's watch this action movie and they do some karate moves in there. I mean, the martial arts was well thought through, and it's a
oh
love
yeah, yeah,
letter to Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun. I mean, I haven't seen Wing Chun portrayed this well on screen. Well, I haven't seen Wing Chun portray on screen, period, prior to this, and just seeing them using
yeah.
trapping hands, which is,
No,
originally
yeah.
from Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do, and that was just a breath of fresh air. It's like,
Not I don't
wow.
remember it in like that's not since Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon,
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Not since Bruce Lee did it. So, yeah. And again, it was just so many nods to his father in that movie. It was just not funny. But
take those Fists of
those
Fury
were
out of
cool
here.
moments. Takes the,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And in the movie, it's interesting because he's the son
It-
of um, a father who's Chinese.
yeah,
So he
yeah,
already he's a mixed kid. So and that's how it is in real life. His father was Chinese and his mother was Caucasian.
yeah, yeah. I'm
So
sure the
yeah,
producers
yeah,
wanted to emphasize that,
yeah,
for
yeah,
marketing purposes, of course. And
yeah. But I thought it was just so cool. Yeah,
there's three things I want to not forget to mention.
yeah.
So I noticed two things from both from Jackie Chan films, but if the audience um, knows of any other ones that they saw and they noticed in that film, please write underneath in the comments. But I noticed uh, the stunt they redid the stunt from Police Story with the motorcycle where runs the guy with the motorcycle driving through the glass
Through the
indoors.
glass.
Yeah, which is from Police Story, and at the end in the final fight scene with Al Leong, Brandon Lee bounces off the fence and kicks him. which is
Hmm.
um, which is what Jackie Chan does in the Hong Kong version of The Protector against Bill Superfoot
Bill
Wallace.
Wallace. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, when I was like, that's like, what do they call that when you put those things in films? They use it a lot for superhero films, especially like the term.
Bloopers. Bloopers? Are you
Not
talking
not
about
not
bloopers?
not not
No.
bloopers. When they hide something in a scene for the ones that know to be like, oh, I noticed this. Oh, what's that
Oh,
term?
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
Easter
Yes,
eggs. Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So those are the two Easter eggs I noticed. I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing there. So, but yeah, if anybody has noticed
No,
anything
no,
else,
good spotting. Yeah, that's correct. And yeah, that's exactly relates to Hong Kong action movies
um,
in a big way.
another thing I wanted to mention is that I really like the. I really really like the police station they had in this film. That it was a bowling alley, and on their free
Oh
times,
yeah, yeah. How
that
good
is
is
such a cool
that?
idea.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and,
That
and
is
they're like,
such a cool idea.
to
Yeah,
to make their minds, like to think out things, or to relax, they would just go and play bowling,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
such a great idea to have the police station in there. I don't know if it
yeah,
was because of a necessity, or if it was something that someone thought of in the screenplay, or it's because, like, well, we can only get this right now, to we have to film in
yeah,
here, we have no other choice, and then they went
yeah.
for it. But either way, it really works really
No, but
well.
I think it works really well because it shows that these detectives, they pretty much work 24/7, and there could be in the office, over 24 hours, and they've got,
Yeah.
obviously nothing to, like, how do you, not that they have nothing to do, but like, how do you let the time pass by when you're not needed out there, or when you're needed in the office type thing? And yeah, no, it was a cool touch. It was a cool touch. And I like how there, for him, there was only one pin that was standing there, and he could never get it. And at the end, he
Oh
just
yes,
pulls out a gun and shoots it. Yeah,
that's
had
right.
enough.
Yeah, that was
Had enough.
that. See, that's a funny
Yeah,
touch. That's so well done.
that
That's a
is so
funny touch.
cool.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, so cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
When I
yeah,
mentioned, yeah, the backflip that Brandon Lee does his character does in the fight scene where with the mafia guys. I
yep,
remember reading an interview at the time, and he was upset because of the way it was edited. Because there's a cut just, and then it shows him in the air flipping, and he was like,
yep.
People are not gonna believe I'm like, I'll be telling people I did that. It was me. It wasn't a stuntman, and people
Yeah,
won't believe
right.
me."
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah. How
remember
cool
that.
is that? Yeah,
Yeah, again, like, we used to pick up the magazines and read the interviews, and it was like exciting because we used to have to
yeah,
go to the shop and buy the magazine, and I
mm,
remember that so fondly, like reading all those details,
yeah,
the
yeah. And
interviews and stuff.
I really like the cool fight scene sort of towards the end where he goes in undercover, and then into the building where the mafia is, and then the mafia discovers who he is, and then the fight breaks out, and I like how he uses the two. What was he using? He was using the two sticks, I think, at one time, fighting multiple guys that were coming at him from two different sides. So that reminded me the scene of Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee fighting in down in the
That's
cave.
that's
Yeah,
another Easter egg. Yeah, yeah, that's another
yeah,
Easter egg,
yeah,
man. Yeah, yeah, for
yeah, for
sure.
sure. Yeah,
That was cool, man. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
And there was another one where the end fight where you were talking about where he jumps off the fence and all that. There was a guy, he came out. I can't remember whether he came out with nunchucks. I think he came out of nunchucks and he was spinning them around, and Brendan throws the towel at him
Was it nunchucks?
to tie
I
up
don't
his
remember.
hand. I can't remember whether it was nunchucks or it was something else, but he was spinning it around really, really fast. And
I think it
Brendan
was
just
something
throws
else.
her, and Brendan
Oh,
just throws like a, I think it was like a wet towel, and it ties up his hands. And
yeah,
again,
that's
and that was a great example of what Jeet Kune Do was all about. Because I remember Brendan Lee talking about this in one of his interviews. He goes, "Well, a guy's coming at you with a weapon, and he's waving it around." He said, "Well, you throw something, you throw a towel, it will tie up his hands. It will buy you a few seconds before you could strike him," type thing. So yeah, and
eh,
that was a perfect example of what Jeet Kune Do was all
yeah,
about,
man.
right? Yeah.
And to those wondering, he really knew his stuff, just like his father.
Mm.
And one of the best things that I read in the magazines, one of the fondest memories of getting the magazine to read his interviews was talking about when a thief broke into his house, and
Oh, I remember
just the
that.
way he
Yeah.
described it. Remember that?
Mm,
That was awesome. Like
mm,
the guy,
mm.
he catches him, he sees him in the house, and they fucking run around, and the guy grabs a knife and they square off in the living room where he has all his pictures of his father on the walls. I mean, it's just unbelievable, unbelievable, and they square off there, and yeah, he just fucking the guy's coming at him and he disarms him and takes him down and puts him in a fucking
Yeah.
lock and sits on him
Yeah.
and waits for the police to arrive. And just reading about it, it was awesome. And I remember him saying specifically, he didn't kill him, but he says he's of the belief that if someone breaks into your house, he's given his right to live like away.
Of course.
He says,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, and and also he was wondering also like he's the squaring off, he's got the knife, the squaring off in the middle of the room, and there's all this, and there's Bruce Lee looking at him and he was wondering what the
His
hell the guy
father's
must have been
watching
thinking.
over him.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what the hell is going on.
Yeah. He's
Wow.
like, don't let me down, son. Kick his ass.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
it's
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
again, all this information, like these days you would just go online and you would get him talking on YouTube or somewhere and you would see the interview. But back then we had to go, the interview happened months ago, and then we would go to the newsagents and buy the magazine and read it, you know
Yeah.
um
That's
and,
how
and
we
learn.
got our news
And it was
about
amazing. It
martial
was
arts movies. Yeah.
amazing, like it was, um it worked just
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, it
Uh,
worked really well for us, especially, I mean, at that time and being kids, it's that, I feel like, nowadays you kind of get a bit of information overload, and information's
exactly,
valuable,
exactly.
available
It's
at
too
your
much.
fingertip, which is not a bad
Yeah,
thing. Which is, in a
no,
way, it's not a bad thing, but yeah, like
yeah,
sometimes it can get too much, especially for a kid, right? But back then, when
yes,
you get that piece of information, and especially, movie lovers like us, where we want to find out more about Hollywood, all the movies that's coming out. And when you get that piece of information, you just get so excited. And I remember sometimes, getting a piece of information that I would read about it, say on Friday, and then I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to go back to school on Monday and tell John about it, see if he heard it, right? So that was the fun bit, when you receive that small piece of information and you go and you treasure it, because that type of information is so difficult to get, right?
yes.
Not
So
easy
the
to
whole,
get.
exactly. So it made it what? It made the whole thing meaningful, man. It made it more meaningful because when you got the interview and or you got something and you learned something, it was just so much more powerful.
Mm,
Whereas now, of course, there's so many benefits, of course, but it's like so in your face, everything so overwhelming. There's so much stuff that it becomes like, okay, you know.
yeah.
But back then it was
And
like,
too much
wow,
choice.
magazine, yes, yes, we've got Blitz,
Yeah,
we've got MMA Illustrated, whatever
yeah.
other magazines. Impact, obviously, shout out to Impact. It was the best action movie
Impact.
magazine.
Yeah, and I think in
Mhm.
Australia it was the most difficult magazine to get. Some like not every news agent is our local shop that sells papers, newspapers, and magazines and stuff. So not every news agent would carry Impact magazine because it was a UK publication, and I remember it was difficult to get. Wasn't that easy to get?
No, I was lucky when
Yeah.
I went to Greece. I was like panicking because like, what am I going to do? Am I going to find? And then I found it here, and there was one news
Mm.
agent in the whole of Piraeus that was selling it, and I was there every month religiously for years buying my copy. you know, oh man,
Yeah.
back then they were like temples. They were like holy temples. News agent,
Holy Grail.
news
Yeah.
yeah, news agents, video clubs. They were like, my
Yeah.
favorite places, man. They were so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that where you have to physically get up, walk out the door, walk, actually, God knows for how long, or maybe drive or get your parents to drive you to a video store, pick out a movie that you want, go back home, and then watch it.
Yeah,
The effort it took to
the com-
actually watch movies and the commute and everything to get it, you you just appreciate it a lot more.
exactly. You
Right?
committed
Once you
yourself.
got
So
that movie or number of
once
movies from the video store,
you
got
had to watch it.
home,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not like now where you just start a movie. Nah, next one, flip to the next one, flip on the next one. All a dime a dozen. Back then, you committed yourself, to watching it. You went through the effort.
mm,
So and yeah,
yeah,
I want to add this thing before we wrap this up.
hmm,
When there was going to be there were strong rumors that there was early development for a rapid fire too, and
all right, I
when
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, it was discussed when he was on set of The Crow. They were talking about there was this
Mm,
very famous screenplay going around called Simon Says, right? That was very very popular. Great script. They were saying everybody, and there were strong talks about turning that into rapid fire too. And interesting enough, Lethal Weapon 3 wanted to to get that script and become Lethal Weapon 3, and guess
mm.
which film ended up becoming Simon Says. Which film ended up taking the
Which one?
screenplay in?
Which
Die
one?
Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, Die
Oh,
Hard with a
very
Vengeance, and
interesting.
Die Hard 3 ended up being ended up taking the Simon Says screenplay, making changes, and making it a Die Hard film. But yeah, it was in an alternative universe. There's a Rapid Fire too that
That would
came
have
out.
been amazing. Yeah, that would have been amazing. And I was looking. I remember, as a kid, I was looking forward to what Brendan Lee was going to do next. And yeah, like I said, like you said as well, such a shame what happened, and we
Ah,
didn't
yeah,
get
big
to
big
see
big, big
anything
shame.
else. Yeah,
And,
we got to see The Crow, and that was it after that, unfortunately. Yeah,
yeah, that was very impactful, and maybe
mm,
we'll do an episode on that at some point. But yeah, I had to leave
yeah,
Australia obviously back then, which was
yeah.
yeah, a very hard time for me. And but I remember like one of the first things that I did when I went back to when I went to Greece was that The Crow came out, and like a
Yep,
month or two
yep,
later, yeah, I was in the cinema to watch it, and
yep. I watched it in the cinema too. Yeah, it
it
was
was
very
a
special.
very
Yeah,
special and powerful experience.
yeah.
Um,
It sure was. It sure was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh well, mate. Yep. Thank you for that. I think we should
Thank
wrap
you, man.
this up.
Thank you.
And yeah, yeah. That's it. Great discussion for a great movie. Yeah.
Right, exactly,
All right.
absolutely, man, absolutely. So
All right.
yeah,
Thank you, Yanis.
thank you, and I'll see you soon. We'll have the next
Yep.
one.
Until another episode. Yep.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly. So
Thank
I'll
you.
let you. I'll let you stop the recording now, and yeah, bye bye.
We chat later.